You are listening to the Atheist Antidote Show.
Let's burn the roof,
and then we'll do it again.
Unicorns think he is a myth. And now your host, Brock Lawby.
let's do it, and do it, and do it, let's do it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brock Lawley. I'm in the Atheist Antidote here. This fabulous mini podcast. Thank you for listening, by the way. And elsewhere, feel free to wander all about the social interwebs and feast upon the Atheist Antidote in all its many colors and shades and hues and forms. Today is going to be an interesting podcast. I have this theory. I have lots of theories. This is my personality. I just come up with these theories. I think they're interesting. And by the way, you should come up with theories too because they make for great dinner party conversation, or that kind of time when you need to talk about something nobody has any idea. Everybody has a personality of watching paint dry, and you can throw out a theory, and it's usually part humor, part social commentary, part like inflammatory, whatever the case may be, and people can chew on that a little bit conversationally. It works out quite well. Well, this one I'm going to offer for you, my audience. I call it the punched in the face theory, and I warn you at a time, women, especially women who have reared children or are rearing children or pregnant women, etc., usually don't like this theory, but that doesn't necessarily nullify it of all worth or soundness. It might, but it doesn't necessarily mean that because they're a little biased, but you'll understand in a second. So my punch in the face theory works like this. I think, it's based on personal experience and knowing men and experiencing, boot camp and death camp for football and all these different things. I think that if a young man gets punched in the face, and I mean seriously punched in the face by somebody who means him harm, if it just, best case scenario, this just happenstances itself into existence, like, kids on a playground or, something like that, gets in a fight, and he takes one to the face, hard. I think he is psychologically better off. He's benefited by experiencing that at a younger age. Because, see, we live in this interesting time, which never would have existed prior to this in history, where you can kind of relatively move through the seasons of life without violence touching your life, especially if you grow up as some white kid in suburbs, and you don't have that disposition that goes looking for a fight every day. You can really maneuver through like elementary school, middle school, high school. I have friends who have done this and never had any physical altercations. Never really had any threats to their person. And what happens to a guy, especially, is the mythology that is physically getting hit haunts them. So what's it going to feel like? Am I going to be able to recover from it? And it hinders them from making decisions that they should or sometimes shouldn't make. For example, sometimes they'll just avoid physical altercation altogether, and that's not always the best case scenario. I know we're told that in this feminized world, but it's not always the case. And there's a time you need to throw down. There's a time for lines in the sands, etc. So my point is if a young man takes a blast in the face, it takes all the myth away from that. They realize, hey, I can take this. This isn't going to be the death of me. If I got to deal with this, I can deal with this. Nobody thinks this is pleasant. And I'm certainly not advocating that anybody go out seeking violence or seeking a fight. I'm just saying that the earlier you get this sort of, war scar mentally out of the way, the better you are as a young man psychologically. And I really think there's something to that. Now, I know this is a very complicated thing, and there's all kinds of pushback on this, and especially women don't want to hear that their young baby boys are going to get punched in the face or whatever the case may be. But I think if you can orchestrate a situation where your kid can take a blast in the face early, not something that's going to kill him, but just something that's going to, get that behind him, the better off he's going to be as a man, as a husband. What do you think? There it is, punched in the face theory. And I know, I told you it was going to be a little bit off kilter. Thank you for listening. This is the Atheist Antidote Radio Show.
You are listening to the Atheist Antidote Show.